to hot starts. Pay attention to our star watch tonight. These two can fill it up.
They really can put the ball in the basket. My question is who's going to help them? I would think part of the game plan for both coaches is to slow both those guys down. And who's going to step up and be Robin to Batman tonight? It's going to be interesting.
Appalachian State controls the opening tip, and we are underway from the Holmes Convocation Center in Boone, North Carolina. The Mountaineers in the home whites with the gold letters and numbers, and quickly slices to the bucket and comes up empty.
And you can see the impact of the 7-footer. He really changed his shot at the goal.
This East Carolina team has 3 posts that go 7 feet or taller, one of the biggest teams in the country.
In fact, they are the biggest team in the country, averaging 6.
Steal from O'Shawn Williams. In transition, Newton tipped it back. 45 seconds in, Williams will try a 3.
Once again, the big 7-footers flew out there. Good closeout, changed that shot up.
Here's Tristan Newton, over 3,200 points in high school. And the shot is altered. And last touch by Isaac Johnson, so it will stay with the Pirates of East Carolina, mentioned out of the American Athletic Conference. American always tough, but it's going to be even tougher this year with Penny Hardaway in Memphis, Houston.
That comp top heavy. You've got Memphis and Houston both in the top 15 in the nation, playing well right now. I don't think either squad's lost a game. It's going to be tough every single night in that conference.
Newton's the trigger man. Gives it into J.J. Miles. Back at the top. Newton's only turned it over 3 times this year. Head coach Joe Dooley really high on the freshman. And off the heat, able to secure the board.
Great box out there by the Mountaineers, and that's what they're going to have to do tonight to offset this size disadvantage that they have.
Delph the kick. Extra pass to Forrest. And maybe a little generous here in the opening minute and change. No score at East Carolina basketball.
Well, they played Ferrum Thursday night, and this is a big step up from that, so it may take a minute or two to get adjusted to this.
Here's Jaden Gardner, number 1 in purple. East Carolina in the purple unis tonight with the gold letters and gold trim down the side. Miles will let it fly from the outside. In, Mountaineers pull it away.
And they're trying to push up. That's what they're going to try to do to neutralize the size disadvantage that they have.
And Forrest able to use the body to draw the contact. And that's the first team foul of the first half. And it's against East Carolina.
The Mountaineers have done a good job of keeping East Carolina off the offensive glass and pushing it out for easy opportunities.
Isaac Johnson, a nice inside-out forwards. Spins his way to the bucket and lays it home.
Beautiful shot by what? He's a tough matchup because he's shooting close to 40% from the three-point line, so you can't just stand back off of him. And as you can just see, he can put it on the floor too.
Lots of dribble handoffs in the ECU offense. They've got a high-low offense. They want to pound it inside. You see him feeding the big 7-footer. Luigi DeBow going to work. He couldn't finish. Rebound. James Lewis Jr. from Mount Holly able to pull it away.
And he's a redshirt sophomore from UT Chattanooga. Had a great first couple of years there. Decided to come play for the Mountaineers, and he's been an impact player for them this year.
Wild shots and a whistle and a foul is charged to the Mountaineers, and that's going to go against Justin Forrest. That's team foul number 1 here on Appalachian State. And we're just over 2.5 minutes into the first half.
I like the way Appalachian's attacking the big guys. They're not backing down. The easiest thing to do if you've got a size disadvantage is stand outside and shoot a bunch of threes, and it looks like they're going right at the big fellas.
Facing up is J.J. Miles, a shot fake at the top. The feed inside, here comes Newton. Off balance, back away by Lewis, and here come the Mountaineers.
O'Shawn Williams really pushes the ball up the floor quick.
Adrian Delph, he'll face up. This is a very long and rangy ECU team. Not just underneath, but their guards go about 6'5" and 6'6".
And they do, and they're big, and they're physical, and I will say this. Appalachian's probably not going to be intimidated by their size. They opened up this year against Michigan at Michigan. Juwan Howard's first game, you had the Fab Five in the house, and this is comparable to Michigan, so I would think they're not going to be intimidated.
The foul was charged against Luigi DeBow, the 7-footer from overseas as a junior in this program.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Frenchman didn't get teed up on that. Usually you slam the ball down in front of an official, they're not going to tolerate that. I'm sure he got a warning, but I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't get teed up on that.
We've got a wholesale change for Joe Dooley and the East Carolina Pirates and a 3-0 start for Appalachian State. James Lewis at the free throw line. He's a transfer, as John mentioned, from UT Chattanooga out of the Southern Conference. He was a good player for the Mocs a couple of seasons ago. He's in on both. A nice 4-0 start for the Mountaineers.
East Carolina's come out with a little bit smaller lineup here, probably to match up with Appalachian's quickness. They've still got Charles Coleman in, 7-foot freshman. He was a Wake Forest commit, and he decided to withdraw that commitment and go to East Carolina and play for Coach Dooley.
Rudy went up on the three. And right now, the momentum in Appalachian State's favor. They want ECU to shoot outside.
That's exactly what Coach Kearns wants. He wants quick shots. He wants to try to keep the ball out of Gardner's hands as much as possible. And if he can entice him to shoot a bunch of threes, that's going to work out in Appalachian's favor.
For three. Gets the bounce.
And that's a big dealt. He's a very streaky shooter. He's shooting 50% from three this year, and he's the kind of guy that can make 5 or 6 in a row.
ECU with good ball movement, but Appalachian State taking away the entry fee thus far. Another.
Appalachian.
It's ice cold to start.
Appalachian's doing a great job of closers. Adrian Delph strong to the rack.
LeDay. So that was his first. There's 2 team fouls for East Carolina here to start. And again, just 15:34 left to play in the first half as we're just getting going here. A 9-0 start for Appalachian State. We apologize if you've experienced some technical difficulties with bar in this one. Quickly, a turnover, and O'Shawn Williams on the other end. 11-0 start for the Mountaineers. East Carolina 0 of 4 from three-point land to start. 0 of 7 shooting. And virtually only one look from the inside for DeBow. They'll feed it to Coleman this time, the other 7-footer, as he turns, and the Pirates, much-needed bucket, are on the board here in the Holmes Convocation Center. Here comes Justin Farias, number 1 in white. Handling the rock for Appalachian State. The feed inside to James Lewis. He'll back his way on Coleman. Faces up, turnaround, tough move. LeDay is able to pull down the rebounds. East Carolina, we mentioned they're a high-low offensive team. They want to work it back inside. Nice cut. And another rebound for Appalachian State. Adrian Delph, he'll line it up. And misses short. Another offensive board for the Mountaineers. And the official's going to come in. And it's going to go the other way. Oh, that's going to be team foul number 2 against Appalachian State here at the 14-minute mark in the Holmes Convocation Center. And East Carolina, Jaden Gardner is on our star watch tonight. Guy that averages 21.5 points per contest through the first couple of games for East Carolina. Win against VMI last Tuesday, a loss at Navy on Friday. Coleman the offensive board. Newton now has it at the top. And they'll feed it back inside. Here's Gardner. Tough move, but he was able to draw the contact. Well, Jaden Gardner going to head to the free throw line for East Carolina, a guy that 85% so far on the season and gets to the free throw line a ton as well. Last year, this guy set Eastman records for not just rebounds, but rebounding average, free throws made, free throws attempted, and games started. Started every game for the Pirates a season ago. 11 new players on this East Carolina roster this year. It's a big change for second-year head coach Joe Dooley. The score 11-4. Here comes Justin Forrest handling for Appalachian State. O'Shawn Williams, number 4 in white, with the basketball now as they work it around, and Forrest will tee it up and connects from 3. Smooth stroke for the junior from Decatur, Georgia. Looking inside, Baruti, an extra pass. Appalachian State has been active on D tonight, and Forrest picks up the foul as Suggs was knocked to the floor shooting the 3.
And that's not a good foul right there. They haven't proven that they can make the 3. Suggs has got the reputation as a shooter, but you almost want to have him make one first, and last thing Justin needs to do is get him fouled.
So at the free throw line is Brandon Suggs. He's a freshman from Powder Springs, Georgia.
I think the message sent to his team at that timeout was, we need to get the ball inside, and you can see a concerted effort now. Gardner's now got a couple touches inside, and so is Coleman. So I think they're back with the plan now. Maybe they were just coming out. There's a good crowd tonight here at Holmes Arena, and they get back to pounding the ball inside. I think they could creep back into this ball game.
Suggs with the 3rd free throw. He's knocked down the first 2, and an opportunity for ECU to trim down this early lead for Appalachian State. And the 3rd one up and through as well. Makes all 3, and it's a 7-point Mountaineers lead, 14-7. We played just over 7 minutes here in the Holmes Convocation Center. Kendall Lewis and John Reister here with you on ESPN Plus. Michael bit everything from 3.
That was a little bit quick. They didn't move the ball around the floor that time.
This one tapped out of bounds. Active hands from O'Shawn Williams. CU will have the basketball out of bounds. Both of these teams, a pair of 1-1 teams coming in. We mentioned East Carolina, a win a week ago against VMI, and the loss on Friday at Navy. At Appalachian State, a loss at Michigan and Ann Arbor, and then a win against Ferrum on Thursday night. Here's the kick, the feed. Gardner with position draws a foul.
Well, I don't know about that one. Hunter Seacat came across, got in good position, kept his verticality, and looked to me like Gardner created all that contact. So kind of a questionable call there. I thought Appalachian did a great job of bringing the help side across. Didn't get the call.
Here's Jaden Gardner. Unorthodox shooting form at the line, but mentioned he's an 85% free throw shooter for East Carolina.
He's the one guy they don't want at the line. Everybody, he's been around 85%, and he does a good job. Very physical down in the post, has a variety of moves, and finishes along with getting to the free throw line.
Jaden Gardner, the American Conference Freshman of the Year a season ago for East Carolina. Out of Wake Forest, North Carolina, played at Heritage High School. Michael Bibby gives it away in the corner to O'Shawn Williams. Smaller lineup on the floor for the Mountaineers right now. Johnson can shoot it from there. And this one taps.
Ooh, Hunter
and a hard collision as Hunter Seacat takes a tumble.
Everybody looks to be okay.
And hopefully everything has worked out. Now a good basketball game. Appalachian State started out 11-0. And then East Carolina has responded on a 9-3 run since that point.
Well, they're getting the ball inside, which was Coach Kern. One of Coach Kern's concerns was their size. And now they're starting to punch it in, and it's been the difference in their comeback.
First made 3 of the contest for East Carolina, and it's now 14-11. These two teams match up extremely well on paper, but two different styles in the building tonight. Here's the bounce inside to Seacat. Kendall Lewis is in the game now. He'll tee it up as well for App State. And he misses it off the heel. Runner in and out. Offensive board again by Coleman. And now a loose ball on the floor. And they call a foul in the corner.
Mountaineers didn't do a good job of boxing out that time. They're not going to win a jumping or a reaching battle with these Pirates. They're just too long. They're too tall. Got a break right there. Coleman could have had the ball right there at the basket.
Now East Carolina showing some full court pressure here. They're extremely long. We mentioned footers on this ECU team that will see a significant amount of minutes tonight. But even at the guard position, they're extremely long as well.
And they've got 7 other guys between 6'5" and 6'9", so they're one of the biggest rosters in the NCAA.
And a foul inside again against the Pirates of ECU. This will belong with App State.
I really like how the Mountaineers are trying to pound the ball. Carolina's bigs guard the basketball. Easiest thing to do would be to just pass it around and jack a 3, but I really like their game plan, pounding the ball inside.
Each team with 14 fouls apiece thus far. Quick inbound from Bibby to James Lewis, and he was fouled. Second trip to the free throw line here in the first half for James Lewis.
Dubois made the cardinal sin of bringing his arms down. He doesn't have to do that. He literally can stand flat-footed and touch the backboard. If he'd kept his hands up, I think James was in a position. He's a little too far under the basket. So Dubois just bailed him out on that.
Mentioned James Lewis, trained UT Chattanooga. He was a good player for the Mocs. He led the Mocs with rebounds a couple of seasons ago. Had to sit out last year due to NCAA transfer rules. And Dustin Kearns, the first-year head coach for Appalachian State, extremely high on this kid.
He likes him a lot. He's long, he's wiry, very strong for his size. Only weighs 215, but he plays a lot. And he's active, very active on both ends of the floor.
And Suggs going to take it across the timeline for East Carolina. Shot fake in the corner. LeDay trying to spin his way down the alley. And there's a foul against the Mountaineers. And it's going to go against James Lewis. That's his second, so the Mountaineers have got to be careful. Extremely undersized in this against a very big ECU team not to get in foul trouble early.
Seth LeDay's one of the 2 players that returned from Coach Dooley's team last year. He's 6'7". He actually had ACL surgery in March. Tremendous recovery to be able to be playing this early. He's one of the strongest guys on their team. He bench presses over 300 pounds.
And Seth LeDay, last year 6th in the American in field goal percentage. He was also 9th in steals per game. He averaged almost a steal and a half per game. He's got a brother that played at Virginia Tech, and as John was telling you, great player for East Carolina, one of 2 players to return off last year's squad. Joe Dooley virtually cleaned house from the first season to year 2 as Delph for the Mountaineers, and the lead is back up to 6.
And that was a great 3. Came into the flow with the flow of the offense, wasn't forced, wasn't rushed.
And there's a reach-in foul again on the Mountaineers. That's going to be team foul number 6 against App State and East Carolina.
This is one of Coach Kern's concerns going into the game. He was worried about being a little bit too handsy on defense. He wants them to play with their feet and be strong with their lower half. And you start reaching, you're going to get the kind of fouls we just saw.
Here's Tristan Newton, over 3,200 points in his high school career in El Paso, Texas. Good from Seth LeDay.
And that's what he wants to do. He's left-handed. He likes to spin to the middle of the lane from the right block. Very effective with that shot. He's 6'7", but he's long. He plays a lot bigger than that.
Kendall Lewis, the drop off to Seacat, and he was fouled. Charles Coleman's going to be the culprit on the foul for ECU.
Beautiful bounce pass by Kendall Lewis into Hunter Seacat. He got mugged on the way up.
And now Hunter Seacat going to be at the charity stripe for Appalachian State. Started 31 of 32 games last year for the Mountaineers. And the first free throw.
And Hunter's got to have a big game tonight. He is one of the guys that can really get inside and bang with the 7-footer. So coach is expecting a lot out of him tonight.
1 for 2. The free throw line, a point of emphasis, and one of John's keys to the game. If you weren't with us at the start of the game, Kendall Lewis and John Reister here with you on ESPN Plus tonight. And LeDay buries a triple. Couple of made threes in the last 4 minutes for East Carolina, and it's back to a 2-point game. Shot fake for Delph. He'll feed Seacat underneath. The skip, and Bibby shuffled the feet. A turnover right back to the Pirates. Here's Tristan Newton. Only 3 turnovers through the first couple of games for East Carolina as a freshman. That's an impressive stat for a freshman to come in.
It really is, and Coach Dooley wants him to be more aggressive. He said he's better when he's attacking the basket. He's got a great floater in the lane, and his guy that scored 37 points a game in high school. So he's used to attacking, and Coach wants him to attack more. But he's very good at taking care of the basketball.
Delph lines it up and cashes in for the Mounts.
And here we go with Adrian Delph. Like I said, he's a very streaky shooter. He gets going. He can make them all night. East Carolina's going to have to make an adjustment on him.
Nice ball movement for East Carolina, and to back threes. That time it was J.J. Miles.
J.J. Miles was out of Chipola Junior College. He was a renowned shooter, shot 35% in the JUCO, and that's what he's known for. He struggled a little bit earlier this year, but it looks like he's on tonight.
Kendall Lewis kept the dribble alive and then shuffled the feet as he got up, and it travels. And Boone, North Carolina, they had snowfall all throughout the afternoon, but college basketball's here. We're here, and we've got a good one so far with 7:47 remaining in the first half. It's 21-19, and East Carolina has done a great job of digging their way back into this. When we mentioned Appalachian State jumped out to an 11-0 start.
They've battled back. They've gotten back to their game plan, punching the ball inside, running their offense through Jaden Gardner. And they've made a couple threes, which actually J.J. Miles' 3 right before we went to break was now changed to a 2. The officials came and told us his foot was on the line, so they just lost a point.
Backing his way in is Coleman. In and out, secures the rebounds.
That's a nice jump hook by Coleman. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of length. He's going to be a very, very good player for Coach Dooley.
Here's O'Shawn Williams. Lost the handle. Loose ball on the floor, and East Carolina. Coleman couldn't last. Here comes Johnson. Alley-oop. Just a little too tall.
2 bad decisions there. Threw the ball to a 7-footer before he got to the basket. That's usually a recipe for disaster. And then the alley-oop to Kendall Lewis. That's not going to make Coach Kearns happy. That should have been an easy 2 there, and we turned it into a turnover.
And again, we're glad you're tuned in with us on ESPN Plus. Here tonight, we were experiencing some technical difficulties earlier on in the game, and our production crew done a nice job to get that handled and are working hard behind the scenes tonight here in Boone, North Carolina. Good basketball game, 64th all-time meeting between ECU and App State. And you got to give the credit that time to Donovan Gregory, able to knock the entry feed right to Adrian Delph, and the Pirates turn it back over.
Donovan Gregory's a freshman out of Charlotte. The stat sheet. He's physical, 6'5", about 225. He played on the state championship team for Carmel Christian last year out of Charlotte. He does everything for Coach Kearns, and he's a battler. He doesn't mind going down low with those big guys and fighting.
And Tristan Newton fouled out front, and that'll be number 7 against the Mountaineers. So East Carolina is the first team to the bonus, and one of the things that this Appalachian State team wanted to do, they were unable to do that here in the first half.
No, and now it's they got the wrong guy at the line here too. You know, Jaden Gardner, 85% free throw shooter.
Jaden Gardner, the American Athletic Conference Freshman of the Year. He averaged over 16 points per game. And wave it off. Late violation against the Pirates. And that's costly. Joe Dooley upset on the sidelines with that one.
I think they signaled 33, stepped in too soon. That's Miles, DCU Pirates.
Lewis gives way. Delph off the curl, buries another.
He's rolling. They need to get him the ball. Keep running him off the screens.
East Carolina high-low offensive team. They want to feed the post with those 3 7-footers on their roster. Here's Coleman over Seacat. And the Mountaineers pull down yet another rebound. And right now, these two teams deadlocked at 13 rebounds apiece with 5.5 to go in the first half.
That really favors the Mountaineers, too. They're doing a great job of boxing out, limiting East Carolina to one shot on most of the possessions. Exactly what Coach Kearns was hoping would happen tonight.
Delph lines it up again. Rebound to Seacat. And the Mountaineers will hit the reset button. A fresh 20. Remember, a change to college basketball rules this year. A team that snags an offensive rebound, the shot clock resets to 20 instead of 30.
And I don't like that rule. Our game is so good. I don't see the purpose of that. The rationale behind it is you don't need the 10 seconds in the backcourt to get it up. So they knock 10 off of the shot clock on an offensive rebound. I just don't think their game too much, Kendall. I think it's good enough the way it is. And if a kid's going to fight hard for an offensive rebound, give him 30 more seconds.
And an offensive foul on Kendall Lewis of Appalachian State. And East Carolina basketball. This is an opportunity with less than 5 to go in the first half for ECU.
And I tell you what, the Appalachians played very, very well without their leading scorer, Justin Force. He picked up 2 quick fouls. Coaches got him over there with him. And some of the other guys have really risen to the occasion, especially Adrian Delph, to take up the scoring load with Justin on the bench.
Seth LeDay mentioned his brother played at Virginia Tech. Baruti spins away from traffic, trying to feed LeDay again. Here's the kick. Newton, he'll set his feet.
Strong rebound that time by Kendall.
And O'Shawn Williams going to bark some orders for the Mountaineers. Played in that 6-man role a season ago for App State, if you will. Delph again from downtown. Just off.
Boy, that went in and back out. Good looking shot, came within the flow of the offense.
Inside feed to Jaden Gardner. Trying to muscle his way up. Lost the handle, and it's off the Pirates. Mountaineers basketball. We'll take a break. Of the state, we mentioned travel was a factor over the last couple of days because you didn't know when the snow was going to come in to Boone. And it is snowed all afternoon in Boone, North Carolina. 19 degrees right now.
Mountaineers showing a little patience on offense, looking maybe to get the ball inside to Isaac Johnson.
And a hard foul against Batumba Baruti.
Baruti from the Washington Huskies played his first 2 seasons out there for Lorenzo Lamar. Sat out a year, transferred over, and decided to come play for Coach Dooley at East Carolina. He's going to have about 235, very aggressive, physical rebounder. Got a little too physical that time, though.
And here's Isaac Johnson, second in this bounding a season ago, over 8.5 per. This is a guy that's got the outside touch as well. He can knock down the 3 ball for the Mountaineers. A tough cover. Nice drop off, and LeDay.
Mountaineers didn't do a good time switching. Good job switching on that screen at the high post. Made the help step up way too high, which opened up the back door for the dunk.
Williams attacks glass. High and over the top of Seth LeDay.
Wow, that's a 5'10 guy finishing over a 7-footer. Great finish.
Newton trying to drop it off. Active hands on D by the Mountaineers. The kick, Baruti will try it from distance. And there's a foul underneath. It's going to go against the Mountaineers. That's team foul number 9. And it's going to go against Adrian Delph. That's his first.
Adrian got a little more fit on that box out. He had his man checked out and tried to finish it a little bit too strong. Took him actually right back into the official. He was actually forced to make that call.
Brendan Suggs from Powder Springs, Georgia. He was a three-sport athlete. Played a year of prep school before arriving in Greenville for head coach Joe Dooley.
Good-looking kid, 6'8", freshman, athletic, long. He's going to be a very valuable player down the road for Coach Dooley.
5-point Mountaineer leads here late first half. O'Shawn Williams picked up the dribble. Now the Mountaineers will reset with 13 on the shot clock. Adrian Delph's had the hot hand here in the first half for the Mountaineers. Muscles his way up, couldn't get it to drop. Lit up the floor to Newton. Back to LeDay, and how the hustle for the easy two. And all of a sudden, there's some energy on the East Carolina sideline. The bench getting active on that last two.
This is a smaller lineup for Coach Dooley. He's trying to match App. And working really, really well for him. They're playing a little faster, moving the ball a little quicker.
Here's the lob up high. Forcing a 3-on-2 for the Mountaineers. And an offensive foul, the second one on Kendall Lewis here in the first half.
Ooh, I'd like to see the replay on that. He was there, but I don't know if he stayed squared up.
Let's see if we can take it. That was close, and you get it on your screen.
Yeah, he did not square up. He took that on the shoulder instead of the chest. I'm really, really surprised that he got that call.
Well, Tristan Newton, point guard for East Carolina, has only turned it over 3 times, as I mentioned earlier, as a freshman. Led the state of Texas in scoring his senior season. Get this, averaged 37.5 points per game. Scored over 40 12 times and had a 50-point performance in there as well as muscles his way inside.
He gets it that deep, there's nothing you can do about it. They've got to do a better job of pushing him off the block.
And this Mountaineer lead has dwindled down to 1. East Carolina predominantly a man-to-man team on defense. And a travel on Adrian Delph.
This is very reminiscent of the VMI game. VMI spread the floor with a lot of shooters and actually led for most of the first half against East Carolina. And then Coach Dooley went with a smaller, quicker lineup to match up with that. And that's when they made their run and kind of broke the game open in the second half. Looks like he's kind of doing the same thing here.
Head coach Joe Dooley says Tristan Newton, he needs to be more aggressive. Even though he's a freshman, number 2 in purple. Here he is here. Lost the handle, gets it back. They call it travel.
And he threw it up in the air. He can't touch it. That's a good call.
Another costly turnover for the Pirates. And right now in the first half, 6 for Joe Dooley's unit. Both of these teams averaging right at 16 turnovers per game through the first 2 this season.
And that's another big key tonight is who's going to take care of the basketball. They're even coming into the game. Both teams have played pretty clean thus far. It's been a very well-played game.
Bibby left all alone. Corner pocket 3.
Coach Kearns put AA tournament several years ago, took over that program, did a good job for, 4 or 5 years before he moved on. And he's got a lot of experience at the highest level. I believe he's got an NCAA championship ring with the Kansas Jayhawks.
Joe Dooley is the head coach for East Carolina. We'll get to him a little bit later in his coaching resume. It's a long one. Both these coaches very good. And East Carolina going to play for 1. The shot clock is dead here with 7 seconds. Baseline, J for Suggs. Time for Delph for the Mountaineers. The heave, just off the mark. To start the second half, Kendall Lewis alongside John Reister here with you on ESPN+. Glad that you're tuned in with us. We had some technical difficulties earlier, but things are straightened out now. Good job by our production crew.
Looks like both teams have gone back with their starting lineups.
And here we go for the second half of the Holmes Convocation Center. Suggs bullying his way to the rack. Gardner the tip, no. How about a third chance for the Pirates of East Carolina? Newton, the teardrop. Another opportunity. Finally cashes in.
Coach Kearns isn't going to like that. 4 opportunities. Nobody was boxing out. You cannot do that against East Carolina with the size that they have. You've got to be fundamentally sound on your box outs.
East Carolina, predominantly a man-to-man defensive team. They played some 2-3 zone. Good takeaway by Jaden Gardner as he brings it up the floor himself. Suggs again, and he finishes. And quickly, we are tied at 31.
I'm not seeing the tenacity that Appalachian came out with in the first half. They're half a step behind. They better wake up. East Carolina could score points in a hurry.
Here's Adrian Delph for the Mountaineers. Had 14 first-half points. He leads all scorers in this one. Shot fake for Johnson, the Euro, and he couldn't finish.
Move, just didn't get it to go in.
And back come the Pirates, a 4-0 start to the second half. Newton lines it up, and his team coming in, not a very good three-point shooting team, only 30% from three-point land through their first 2 games.
Yeah, that's probably not the shot Coach Dooley was looking for. They had pounded it in with good results the first 2 possessions. Might have been a little bit of a quick shot there.
And the first team against East Carolina to start the second half.
Adrian Delph got the rebound, pushed it up the floor, actually pushed it up against 3 East Carolina Pirates, kind of got bailed out there. Fortunate.
And Delph tickles the twine on the first for the Mountaineers. Now 15 points for the sophomore from Ohio. He reached double figures in 11 games last year for the Mountaineers. Here's Jaden Gardner, only 6 points. Only 4 shot attempts as well in the first half. He was 1 of 4. Suggs left all alone, buries the 3.
He's their leading shooter this year, 70% from the field. They can't leave him open. They doubled down on Gardner on the catch that time and just dared him to shoot it. Nice take by Justin Forrest to the hole right there. He needs to get going.
And you see the explosive first step of Justin Forrest, the junior from Decatur, Georgia. Excellent ball movement as East Carolina trying to knock it down. Offensive board for Gardner, showing why he was the American Athletic Conference Freshman of the Season last year.
Very physical play there. He just kind of shoved James Lewis Jr. out of the way and took it strong to the hole.
Strong offensive board for Jaden Gardner, the sophomore. 36-35 here in the Holmes Convocation Center. Good crowd on hand here tonight in Boone. Forrest had the shot altered, and the foul is called on Suggs. And we'll take a look at Jaden Gardner's offensive board and stick back.
And that's just strength right there. He went up with 2 hands. James went up with 1. All coaches teach you the guy that's going to get the ball is the one that goes up with 2 hands. Good, strong finish.
Here's Justin Forrest at the free throw line. Led the team in steals his first couple of seasons here in Boone. Averaged 16 per contest. His father, James, a good player at Georgia Tech.
Justin plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's a bulldog out there, and I tell you what, it had to hurt him sitting on the bench for most of the first half. I'm sure he's ready to go. Looks like he's going to be really aggressive coming out this half.
From a season ago, Coach Kern said when he got the job in the spring, he was talking to Justin Forrest, and he said, hey, could you play an overtime game right now? And really wanted to work on his physical conditioning, and Justin Forrest has worked hard on that in the offseason. You could see it. He's packed on muscle and much lighter this season. Here's Gardner.
He's lighter, but he looks bigger. And that's a good formation there.
Loose
Good
ball on the floor.
James Lewis.
Controlled by the Mountaineers. Here's the kick to Williams. He thought about it, and instead the Mountaineers will reset in the half courts.
Good decision by O'Shawn there. getting the ball to Justin.
And Lewis knocked to the floor. And there's a shove.
Looked like they were going to call travel there. In fact, the official under the basket started waving traveling, and the trail official, I think, got it right. He saw the.
And the foul's going to be on Brandon Suggs. That's 2 quick fouls over the last 3 minutes for Brandon Suggs.
And he did a good job in the first half for them, made a couple big shots, and he scored a couple here in the second half already, so that's going to hurt.
Batumba Baruti will check in for Suggs on the East Carolina side of things. And Adrian Delph, number 20 in white, 15 points so far for the Mountaineers. Shot clock is under 10. Here's Justin Forrest looking for space over the taller Baruti. And that's what this East Carolina length does. It forces you to alter your shot.
It does, and it was getting down to 1 on the shot clock, so it looks like a bad shot by Justin Forrest, but he had to get it up. And they had a very long defender on him, which created the air ball.
Gardner streaking to the bucket is knocked to the floor again. And that's what he does. Set freshman records for East Carolina last year in not only free throws, but free throws attempted. He manufactures points. We're going to take it up with 15:54 to play. And we come back to you inside of the Holmes Convocation Center for Boone, North Carolina. 37-36, the Mountaineers on top by 1 over the Pirates. And this has been a good one so far, a mini 4-0 run to start the second half by East Carolina. And Jaden Gardner, the sophomore, is at the free throw line. He led the Pirates in 11 statistical categories. As you get a look at Joe Dooley, this is his second stint at ECU. You can't say that about too many coaches across the country that go back to a school that they were previously at.
That's pretty unusual. Usually you leave and you don't come back. But that speaks volumes for him, to welcome him back and give him the resources that he needs to put that program back on the map. And he will put it back on the map. He's as good as they get.
And Gardner goes 2 for 2. You can see he's been at Florida Gulf Coast 5 consecutive 20-win seasons as well. Florida Gulf Coast has been the cream of the crop in the Atlantic Sun over the last decade. And Adrian Delph pulls it away with 8 on the shot clock. Here's Seacat. Williams going to have to get it off. Hoist with 2, and he draws the foul.
Good action off the high screen. They switched the 7-footer out on O'Shawn, and he made a great decision to take the ball to the basket. If he would have tried to pull up on that, Coleman probably would have swatted at the half court. Good patience on offense, deep into the shot clock. Do that. They're not worried about getting it down in the single digits. They practice that all the time, and they're going to run it until they get a good shot.
And O'Shawn Williams, 3 steals at Michigan last Tuesday night a week ago. The team found themselves down by nearly 30 points in that contest. As you get another look at the foul.
Woes continue for the Mountaineers.
Appalachian State went on a 35-10 run in their opener in Ann Arbor. Only lost by 8, but Coach Kearns, he said, hey, they didn't go to Michigan to lose the game. They went to Michigan to win the game. And he wants to get that mindset instilled into his players here in Boone.
That looked like good hands on O'Shawn's part right there. Got a lot of ball.
Williams picks up the foul for the Mountaineers. Team foul number 2 on Appalachian State.
They're calling it a shooting foul. It didn't look like he was shooting to me. It looked like he was getting ready to dump it off to the post.
At East Carolina, they will take it. Chance to manufacture more points. Tristan Newton, Texas in scoring his senior season. We mentioned averaging 37.5 points per game. How would you like to score 40 points 12 times and have a 50-point performance all?
That's pretty ridiculous. And I was talking to Coach Dooley about that this afternoon at the shoot-around. He said he played good competition. They traveled. They went into Houston. They went and played some really, really good teams, and he just continued to put the ball in the bucket. Really a steal for Coach Dooley here at East Carolina.
Good pickup. He's from El Paso, Texas, and the hedge a little too aggressive from Coleman. He's charged with the bump out in front.
That's a freshman mistake. He'll learn from that. He'll learn he doesn't need to go out quite that far, especially on somebody Justin's size, 6'1", 6'2".
And Forrest again, aggressive at the rack, and he was fouled.
Coleman picks up another one here within 10 seconds, so looks like we're going to get a subs after the first free throw.
Justin Forrest again at the line. This is his second trip, 2 for 2 at the charity stripe so far in this one tonight.
I really like Justin taking the ball to the basket. Real easy with his three-point shot to settle for threes, but that's where his game's evolved this year. Very determined to get into the lane. That's how Coach Kearns wants to play. He wants to penetrate. He wants to put pressure on the defense, and Justin's really bought in. He's going to have a great year this year.
Mentioned his father, James, a good player at Georgia Tech years ago, but he played for his father, James, on the AAU circuit, Team Forest, in Georgia. They've had several really good players come out of that program over the years. Newton from NBA range. Mountaineers, they want to push on misses. Both of these teams can get up and down the floor when the opportunity presents itself. Seacat backing up on DeVoe. And it's up and good for the big fella, Hunter Seacat.
Nice move by Hunter there. Good left-hand finish, jump hook into the lane. Nice shot.
Baruti hands, and he finishes.
And that's his game. He's physical. He wants to pound the ball into the lane, draw contact. Very strong, very physical player.
First made bucket for the Pirates of East Carolina in the last 3.5 minutes. They were on a drought. That one went in, but no shot. Look at Hunter Seacat going to work on the low block.
Here he is spinning left hand, jump hook on the lane, and he's shooting over a guy 7 foot with long arms. Great finish by him. If he continues to do that, he's going to get a lot of playing time because there's not many 7-footers in the Sun Belt.
And Appalachian State, a team that was picked to finish in the Sun Belt this season. First-year head coach Dustin Kearns doing a nice job with this program. Rising for the three. Bound for Delph, and bodies hitting the deck. It's 4-on-4 on the other end. Bibby will line it up, and he hits from the corner.
Shot by Michael Bibby. That's one of his strengths. He can really shoot the basketball.
Mountaineers back up by 2, and all of a sudden some life in this building inside the Holmes Convocation Center. LeDay over Seacat, count the bucket and the foul. Back and forth we go here in the second half.
And I tell you, that's exactly what LeDay did in the first half. He came in, gave him a big spark during that 9-0 run to get them back into the game. He looks like he's going to provide that same spark here in the second half. Very good finish inside. He's got a lot of bounce, 6'7", long arms, strong. Bench presses 300 pounds in the weight.
Tied at 44 all. Just over 13 minutes to go here in this one from Boone. Delph will try it from distance. Here comes Newton. In transition, Baruti thought about the three. Instead, backs his way in on Bibby, and he missed the.
Could have been an offensive foul there on Baruti.
Justin Forrest looking to create. Finds Seacat. A big fella is going to work the last couple of minutes.
Great pass by Justin Forrest, showing a lot of confidence in his teammate, getting it inside.
J.J. Miles. Put back, no. Ball still loose, and Newton wins the fifth. Johnson rips it out of the air.
Great hands by Isaac Johnson.
And all of a sudden, the pace is picked up from both of these teams thus far.
Crowd's getting into it.
Pass fake from Delph. Much taller East Carolina. Mentioned Appalachian State heavily undersized in this one. Forrest had the shot blocked. The hoist with one. And it's East Carolina. A little bit quiet, only 6 points in the first half. We'll see if East Carolina can answer with the basketball here. A chance to tie or take the lead with 11:42 remaining in this one. Newton, the freshman, looking to create. They quickly find Gardner, and he missed the mid-range J.
Good strong rebound there by Adrian Delph. One thing Coach was really stressing in practice yesterday, they've got to rebound as a group. Everybody's got to attack the glass. Everybody's got to box out. And they're doing a super job of that in the second half.
And Forrest lost the handle. It's a turnover back to East Carolina.
Eighth turnover for the Mountaineers. East Carolina's got 8 also. We knew that was going to be a big stat in this game.
ECU wants to pound it inside. That's where they can bully teams. Over. Some bodies on the deck and miscommunication between Newton and Gardner. And App State a chance to add to their 2-point leads. Just under 11 to play in the second half. Isaac Johnson, spin cycle. And he lost the handle just momentarily. It's going to stay on this end. Last touch by the Pirates.
East Carolina's, they know their scouting report. They know Isaac can shoot that and put the ball on the floor.
And Forrest will be the trigger man for the Mountaineers. Finds Delph off the curl. And this one off the mark as well. The lob for Baruti. He was out of bounds.
Mountaineers looking a little tired. Their transition defense has slipped a little bit. That's one thing that they pride themselves on, is not giving up easy buckets in transition. They got lucky right there.
Mentioned this was a good one last year in Greenville. 83-81 final. The Pirates with the victory. East Carolina trailed in that game by 13 with 13 minutes left to play. Able to come from behind. Virtually 2 new teams, though, when you talk about 11 newcomers on this ECU team. Delph as the shot missed everything. And here comes ECU.
Not a good possession for the Mountaineers.
Extra pass to the corner, and money Miles.
And that's his calling card. Shot 35% last year at Chipola Junior College. He's known to be a shooter, and he just showed it there.
Delph looking for Seacats. He has the size advantage over Gardner. Turnaround again at the second half, and that time the Mountaineers come up empty.
Play's getting real physical down in the paint, down in the lane. Officials are letting him go.
Heat check for Miles. Rebound off to the Mountaineers. App State with numbers. Forrest streaking to the bucket. And he was hacked on the arm.
Justin really got going downhill that time. Good take, good finish. Now we need to make the free throws.
Justin Forrest, we talk about Jaden Gardner on the other side for ECU, manufacturing points at the free throw line. 3rd trip for Justin Forrest tonight. Coach, what makes this guy so special?
Well, he's just a competitor. He gets out there. You see it in practice. You see it even in shoot-around. He's out there, and he's just, whether it means shooting free throws, taking it to the hole, he's not going to back down from anybody, and that's what you want from your leader. And he's Coach Kern's leader. When he goes, they go. And they did a great job weathering the storm in the first half when he was over there with 2 fouls.
Substitutions for the Pirates. And Baruti's going to have a seat on the bench for Joe Dooley. Justin Forrest at the charity stripe. Big emphasis this weekend in practices. Head coach Dustin Kearns said at the free throw line, especially in this one, a game that came down to the wire a season ago.
They left a lot. They have this year left a lot of points out there on free throws. They're shooting only 60% on the season, and a lot of those have been in front end of 1-on-1. So you're not talking just 1 point, you're talking a possibility of 2. Good teams make their free throws.
Shot clock in single digits. Suggs fouled, We'll see who they give it to. Was it Bibby or Forrest? And that one is going to go against Michael Bibby.
Wow. I'd like to see that again. I thought both players were in good position. I didn't see anybody reach for the basketball. Actually, Bibby, so I don't know where that foul came from.
That's team foul number 4 on the Mountaineers here with 8:45 left to play in this one. And active hands from Isaac Johnson.
Donovan Gregory in now for the Mountaineers, and he's a big, strong freshman, 6'5", about 225. It looks like he's got Gardner right now. He can physically play him. A little bit of a size disadvantage, but very tenacious defender, very physically strong. It's an interesting matchup.
And there's blood on the jersey of an ECU Pirates. The trainers go over to tend to Brandon Suggs, the freshman from Powder Springs, Georgia. And officials ready to get back to action as Suggs will be the trigger man for East Carolina. So what are you looking for here, John? Baseline out of bounds for the Pirates.
What they're going to do is they're going to run Gardner off multiple screens, try to get him the ball inside.
And instead, a long 3 for Newton.
Didn't see that coming.
Tristan Newton gives the ECU Pirates a 2-point lead here with 8:28 left to play. Shot fake for Forrest. Pull up Jay. Knock.
Great mid-range shot there. That's what Justin's really, really good at. He can play at all 3 levels. Shoot the 3, get to the basket, and play the mid-range game.
Extra pass to the corner. And an offensive foul underneath. Coleman shoved Lewis out of the way.
I'm not surprised by that call there. They've really, really been letting them bang on each other inside this half. And that's probably one of those fouls where they're like, all right, going to clean this up a little bit.
And you see it, you'll get another look on your screen. And right in front of the official.
Little elbow to the back of the head there. You got to call that one.
We've got a good officiating crew in this one tonight. KB Burdett, Keith Patterson, and Garrick Shannon. These 3 have done a lot of games. And Johnson fumbled it underneath.
Good hustle by Bibby, getting on the floor, keeping that ball from going out of bounds. What a play.
And the Mountaineers will reset. Shot clock's at 7. Isaac Johnson thought about it. Instead, backing his way in. It's an offensive foul.
Whoa. Offside official called that. You got 2 guys within 10 feet of the play. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
And this crowd coming alive after that call. They didn't like it. Neither did Dustin Kearns, but we are tied at 50. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere on ESPN+. We've got a good one here in Boone.
We got to play. Those calls even out over the course of the game. Let's just keep playing. Move forward.
And stepping out of bounds is J.J. Miles at turnover 8. That's costly. Both teams have had the open door. Knotted up here at 50 with under 7.5 to play. Here's Isaac Johnson again. Adrian Delph bounces it low. Johnson faces up on Gardner. Pulling his way inside.
Oh, nice finish by Isaac Johnson. Maybe that bad call against him will get him fired up. That was only his first foul, so he can be aggressive.
Here's Suggs. He had blood on the jersey a few minutes ago. Trainers were able to tend to him, and he lines up a three here. Mark, and a rebound pulled down by Isaac Johnson.
Big possession here for the Mountaineers.
Forrest, pull up Jay.
Good screen by James Lewis Jr. out front. Got his feet set, held his ground. Justin turned the corner, got to the paint. I think that's been a push. I think both teams have done a good job of protecting the paint, trying to get the ball inside. Who's the better team? I think both teams have struggled a little bit offensively, gotten out of sync. And as far as the free throw battle, 13 for 16 for East Carolina, 11 for 18 for Appalachian. That could be considered a push too.
Good ball movement with the two-handed flush.
Somebody messed up on defense there. They switched on the screen, no communication. Easy pick and roll dunk.
This is almost a mirror image of last year's game. Back and forth as Forrest connects from deep. Out Dustin Kearns. We're going to keep it right here with 5:44. Big time three for Justin Forrest on the other end. Makes it 57-52. Tristan Newton, the freshman, handles the rock for the Pirates of ECU.
Big defensive possession here for the Mountaineers.
The feed inside. Baruch bullies his way over the top of Isaac Johnson.
Just too strong in there. He caught it way too deep. Big, strong guy like that's going to finish in that situation. East Carolina's extending out a little bit, putting a little pressure on Appalachian shooters.
This one tapped out of bounds, and it's going to be Pirate basketball.
One possession game here. Big possession for East Carolina.
Newton, LeDay underneath to Gardner. J.J. Miles sets his feet. Bound by James Lewis of App State.
Good closeout by Justin Forrest that time on the shooter. Doubled down in the post and flew back out to affect that shot. Going to a 1-4 low here for Adrian Delph. Good block.
Good block. Long outlets and a foul on Justin Forrest. And we've got an injured Pirates. Jaden Gardner looked as if he was grasping his shoulder there for a second.
Somehow LeDay ended up on top of him.
Let's look at this one again. East Carolina, they're a team that side, but off of misses, that was one of the things. This Pirate team, they will push it.
It's like Jaden Gardner might have hurt his hand on that. He's holding his right hand, shaking it a little bit. Came up holding it. Sure, he's not going to want to come out of this game, though.
Little perspiration timeout on the floor as they wipe this one up. Mentioned 19 degrees at tip-off tonight here in Boone, North Carolina. There's been snowfall all afternoon. Great basketball game between two in-state opponents. Seth LeDay picks up his dribble.
Looked like a double dribble there. Might have got away with one.
Gardner faces up. Miles thought about it. Baruti got Johnson in the air with 4 on the shot clock, but then he shuffled his feet. App State basketball.
Johnson stayed on his feet, stayed in his stance, didn't go for the ball fakes, and Baruti drug his foot a little bit. Here we got the replay. Drug his foot on his pivot. Good defense by Isaac Johnson there.
Exactly 4 minutes to play. App State shooting 45% from the field, 19 of 42 tonight with 8 made threes. Forrest sizing up LeDay. Bibby jarred it loose momentarily. ECU with numbers. And the for the redshirt junior, Seth LeDay from Dallas, Texas.
Poor job of transition defense by Appalachian that time. 2 passes were forced by Bibby, and then the other guys didn't run back into the play. Easy bucket by ECU. And ECU's gone back to that smaller lineup. that got them back into the game in the first half.
Gardner sealing off Johnson. They get it to him down low.
Boy, they're really letting them bang down low.
Going to work inside, and Isaac Johnson draws the contact with 3:09, and that brings us to our final media timeout. 3:09 left to play. Appalachian State leads East Carolina by 1. Plus the rest of the games in the way that the game last year went in Greenville. 83-81. The Pirates came away with the win in overtime. We're able to come back from 13 down, and these are big. Arguably the biggest free throws of the season for Isaac Johnson right now in a game that's coming down.
The rest of the way, all these free throws are going to be big. And we talked about at the beginning of the game, who wins the free throw line battle is going to be in a position to win the game, and it's come true. I mean, these guys are going to have to knock them down because that's the difference.
Well, both of these teams struggled at the free throw line coming in. App State was only a 64% free throw shooting team their first two games. East Carolina only 59.5%. They're shooting over 81% from the free throw line, the Pirates, in this one. And those were two big free throws from Isaac Johnson and the Mountaineers. Baruti had it knocked loose, able to get it back. This one tipped around, and Forrest fighting.
Justin Forrest was the only one to go up with two hands that time, and that's why he came out with the basketball.
It is crunch time here in the Holmes Convocation Center. Delph looking for Johnson. Dribble handoff with 7. Delph streaks to the bucket, no. Big offensive board for Isaac Johnson, and Sugg
brought the ball down. You teach big guys to keep the ball up.
Here come the Pirates. An offensive foul.
James Lewis Jr. stepping in, taking it on the chest. Great play by the sophomore.
And Brandon Suggs coach. We talked about him earlier. James Lewis, the transfer from UT Chattanooga, coming up big for the Mountaineers.
Brandon Suggs is a heck of a player, 6'8" freshman. And that was kind of a freshman mistake right there. Mountaineers, good transition defense, had 4 guys back, and he forced it a little bit. He'll learn from that. He's going to be a tremendous player for Coach Dooley at East Carolina.
Exactly 2 minutes left to play here in Boone.
East Carolina is really, really extending their defense out now.
Delph along the baseline. Foul. Back to the Pirates.
Well, I tell you, the defense is really stepping up. Both coaches are going to be really happy with that. Here we got a replay. Ooh, didn't know if he got squared up right there or not. Made the call. Could have gone either way. Big defensive stand here for the Mount by 3.
East Carolina.
Gardner steps up to set the high screen. That's how they like to get him the basketball.
And he fumbled the entry.
Good step, strong step through by Adrian Delph.
Here comes Delph. And instead, he'll pull it away. Smart play with 1:15 left, and the Mountaineers a 3-point lead.
Wouldn't be surprised for them to use up as much clock as they can here, keeping the ball in Justin Forrest's hands.
Forrest pulls up. The tip back.
I can't tell if that.
They're a team that can make you win ugly, and the Mountaineers have done an excellent job of denying Gardner the basketball underneath the basket here tonight. We'll see what East Carolina can draw up right now.
Coach Dooley stayed with a small lineup, but he's got 3 shooters out there.
LeDay, the turnaround is.
That's a nice strong. Justin Forrest come off a high screen like they did last time. That puts a lot of pressure on the defense. But then again, Coach Dooley might be thinking the same thing. They might blitz that double screen out top and create a turnover. Looks like East Carolina's coming with some full court pressure here out of the timeout.
Michael Bibby looked to throw it long. Here's the trap.
Looks like it's a 1-2-1-1.
And the Mountaineers get it into the front courts. A foul from behind, says LeDay. knocked Justin Forrest to the floor.
And that's not all bad for East Carolina. Didn't run a lot of clock off. Sent in a free throw shooter that's been streaky. He's been very, very good from the line tonight. But not a bad play there. I like him bringing the pressure in that situation.
Forrest came in a 64% free throw shooter. He's 6 of 7 at the charity line so far tonight. And none bigger than these right here with 40 seconds.
Right now, East Carolina's got 4 guys that have shown that they can make the three-point shot and surrounded around Jaden Gardner.
Here comes the first for Justin Forrest.
Big shot. That makes it a 2-possession game.
Smooth as silk.
Donovan Gregory comes in for Michael Bibby for some defense and a little bit of size.
Forrest to make it a 5-point game with 40 seconds. Both of these teams trying to get to 2-1 on the season, both down.
Big defensive stand here for Appalachian.
Newton with the basketball here.
Miss LeDay flashing across the lane.
And they find Gardner, and he was fouled from behind, missed the bunny. That's exactly who you mentioned earlier, that the Pirates want to go through Gardner, and they found him right there at the high.
He's the guy that Coach Dooley wants on the line right here. Their best free throw shooter, close to 85% for the season.
Ranked 7th CAA in scoring and rebounding as a freshman. As you get another look at the foul, is issued from behind by the Mountaineers.
Is that on Justin Forrest?
Was on Justin Forrest.
He's done a great job in the second half, not picking up extra fouls. Missed there, good rebound.
And now the Pirates forced to foul, down 4 with 27 seconds.
Biggest free throws, I would guess, of Adrian Delph's young career here at Appalachian.
ECU over the limit, so 2 free throws for Adrian Delph coming. He's at 16 points tonight.
He's been quiet in the second half. He scored the majority of those in the first half.
14. 14 of those 16 in the first half.
Nice look.
The Nets.
Nice looking stroke. Very comfortable shot there. Doesn't look like the pressure's getting to him at all.
Here comes the second from Adrian Delph. Now, still time for East Carolina. Newton kicks LeDay.
Whoa, what a block.
Had it blocked by Lewis.
Jr.
And a one from Isaac Johnson.
Talk about a defensive stand. Your 2 big fellas swatting them out of there. You got to like that.
And listen to the crowds.
I know Coach Kearns likes it. He's over there clapping too. James Lewis with the first one, and then here comes Isaac Johnson. Not a good possession for East Carolina. I thought they might go inside out on that one and try to get a good 3.
Claims the first one off the side of the rim. 16 seconds.
Here's the big one right here. This could stretch it out to 7.
Get in.
Friendly roll. Coach Kearns is going to want to talk about it.
East Carolina, as we told you, one of the biggest teams in Division I college basketball this year with 3 7-footers. They've got guards that go 6'5", forwards at 6'7". Only 11 seconds left for the Pirates.
Appalachian in the 3-2 zone. 3-pointer.
And LeDay, the putback and the foul.
I think Coach Kearns will live with that. He made them make 4 or 5 passes before they got a shot, used quite a bit of clock. There's only 6 seconds left in the game. Very, very good adjustment by Dustin Kearns coming out of the timeout to go zone. I think it kind of put East Carolina on their heels a little bit.
And maybe a little too late for East Carolina, but make no mistake about it, he has a good basketball team at East Carolina this season, but they have the athleticism to make some noise in that league, and we've seen it tonight. And Forrest is hacked with 5.2 ticks remaining in this one, and things looking as if Appalachian State are going to improve to 2-1 on the young season.
Very, very good job by Michael Bibby there. Time not rushing, getting the ball in against the press attack. He was getting close to the 5-second count, waited till Justin came off of a screen, got him the basketball. That's who you want in this situation at the line. Good execution by Appalachian State.
This would be a 2-game win streak, a win over Ferrum on Thursday night for the Mountaineers in their home opener. And for East Carolina, we'll make this a 2-game losing streak after losing to Navy on Friday night on the roads.
Tell you, we talked at the beginning of the broadcast about who's going to win the free throw battle. And I tell you, Appalachian this game has only missed one free throw, and that's been the difference in the game.
Well, the Mountaineers, that was a point of emphasis, Coach Kern said, in practice. Got to improve at the charity stripe. They did that tonight. And time going to tick out as Newton hoists the final 3, and that's going to be the final score. A good crowd on hand.